Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are looking at the energies of your next week. So this is a timeless message whenever you come across it. It is good for like the week that you're in, the next 5 to 7 days roughly. You know, energies can move quicker or slower for people and circumstances. It is also a general message, so take what resonates. And also, if you get into a pile and it just doesn't seem like you, I have a ton of weekly readings, so you can pick another reading through that playlist, or pick another pile. But this is where you get to engage your intuition to pick the pile, and I will be adding numbers and crystals on here in a moment. The pile, number, or crystal that resonates with you, and I have the timestamps down below, and then I will engage my intuition to read the cards for you. We're also using, this is the first time I'm using this Luminous Void Tarot, so it's a little bit creepy. This looks stunning, but the cards themselves can come across as a little creepy, but I was like, you know what, I'm going with it. We're going into October, I love Halloween, let's be a little creepy. Again, if that doesn't resonate with you, I have tons of these readings, so you can find one that you like. So I'm going to put crystals on here. For pile number 1, we are going to start off with this Druzy heart, and it's carved out of agate. This is black kyanite for number 2. And for number 3, I have this carved moon, and the little crystals in here, that's Druzy. I believe that's my understanding. If I'm wrong, let me know. So I would love it if you gave my video a like. You get 2 things for free in this video. You get a reading, and then if you give my video a like, you get my eternal gratitude and thanks for doing that. So now I'm going to close my eyes and invite you to do that with me. Close your eyes, take in a deep breath. Release. Okay, be present, be here. What is it that you need to know for this next week? Go ahead and open your eyes, and if you hadn't already picked out a pile, wherever your eyes guide you, that's the message that you need to hear. So I will meet you at your pile, and thank you so much. Hello, group 1. If you picked the Druzy, the beautiful Druzy heart, you are in the right spot. When I do weekly readings, I usually pick 1 card to kind of represent the overall energy of your week. Then we've got some tarot cards and some other further advice cards. And for you, romantic love, well, if you're drawn to the heart, I'm not surprised. And when I do these, I pick the crystals first and then start pulling cards. So very much connected to your connection with the heart, with love this week. This particular heart, it's interesting because it does seem like there's there's a gash through it, right? But look at what happens. There's new growth that comes in. Like this was an opening, and these little crystals form, and it just really makes it beautiful. So our experiences with either like romantic love or just love in general, like sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's hard. We put ourselves out there, we put love out there. It could be even with a friend. Sometimes it's even with like a pet. And even when they love us back, a lot of times, most of the time, like some of the stuff comes to an end and it can hurt us. But really it's I feel like just love anyway, connecting with that, and it just makes us stronger and makes us more beautiful. And this is the frequency of romantic love supports our journey to feel whole and complete through the experience and the reflection of a conscious lover. It's really like these cards and a lot of like the whole like spirituality is, you know, just being the best person that you are, and growing yourself. And I know that there are a lot of people who are in a position where they are just really working on themselves. And then there's kind of the opposite of those people who keep getting into love situations and they've done no work on themselves, and then they're wondering why it's failing. It's because it's a reflection. When you're finding a person and you're reflecting. And romantic love can really just be like, I mean, I feel like I fall in love all the time because, and yes, I am married and I very much love my husband, but there are just people who I see and I just appreciate and I just love them. And it's a completely different level than like my romantic love with my husband. But, you know, I just am so appreciative and so in love with my family and my friends and the community that I am building around me constantly, because there's always people coming in and leaving, and that, you know, you can't take those things personally. Everybody's on their own kind of journey. And even when you have a romantic love and you think that it's really fantastic and it ends, like sometimes there's a reason for that, and you've both grown in certain ways or grown apart, but this is really like the appreciation of it at the moment and right now. If you are not in a relationship and you're seeking a relationship, this is a good week to kind of put yourself out there. It's a good week to, you know, see yourself as you bounce off of other people, and hopefully it's a good way. It's in a good way. So I'm gonna put these guys over here. We will get back to them. And we've got 3 of Cups. So it's interesting that 3 of Cups comes out, because 3 of Cups is such like a loving energy as well. But I feel like for our goal here this week is romantic love, that the 3 of Cups comes out because it either starts as a friendship and grows from there, or, you know, it's somebody that you may have overlooked because you've put them in the friend zone, is how I see this. But it certainly is like finding that deep, fulfilling relationship with other people, somebody that you can be a friend with for a long time. Someone that is always going to love and support you, and that you know, love and support, because this is reciprocal. And then, let's see, we have the Fool. Very interesting. So the Fool is so much about freedom and putting yourself out there and not even really looking at, you kind of have a goal, okay? So you do have like a goal, but you don't have all the steps in between figured out, and you don't need to. So sometimes this can be like a long distance relationship, and you don't really care about the details, like when are you going to meet, like how are you going to be in the same state, how are you going to move. It's just really enjoying that relationship and how it is and how it feels, and very fresh. I like the Fool energy here when we're talking about a romantic love, because it is almost like that honeymoon period where you just like so much things like washes past, like some of the negative stuff just you're not even concerned about, you're not even worried about. I went to a wedding once, and they were going to, this was years and years and years ago, and it was in the United States, and for their honeymoon, they were going to go to Canada to go snowboarding. They really loved it. It was in the winter time. And, you know, the epic trip, right? Well, he had lived in a different state, and going to leave on their honeymoon, he forgot his passport. So they couldn't leave for a couple days until his mom, like, next day aired his passport to him. Like, she had to get home, get his passport, send it to him. And like that didn't bother her at that point because it was such a fresh and new relationship, and it was just kind of like a funny story for them, and they were able to really easily get over it because the details didn't matter. It was just kind of like living on love. And where like in my relationship, I've been, I would probably be the one who would lose my passport, and my husband would be like, what the heck, you know? But they were just living in the moment and enjoying it, and it was not a problem. And that's like how this feels. Like this feels very fresh and very new, and a lot of like the details are not important. What's important is the moment. And then we've got the King of Discs. Oh, and by the way, this doesn't mean that like if you are in a romantic love that can't happen, but sometimes we lose that feeling, and it's kind of like maybe it's time to embrace some honeymoon feelings. Maybe it's time to go on a date. Like, when was the last time you did that? When, you know, maybe you set up a scenario where you pretend to meet for the first time and see where that goes. And, you know, just enjoy yourselves and have fun, like fresh new experience. It just really, you know, it's important to like nurture this relationship too. So even if you're currently in a relationship, you kind of have to dive back into this honeymoon spirit every once in a while so that you can build it stronger. And I love the King of Discs here because if this is a brand new thing for you, like, yeah, maybe things happen and you're overlooking them now, but for the long run, like keeping up that energy, this to me seems really sustainable, right? If this was a night that's coming in here, it'd be like, oh, okay, that was fun for a while, we're done. But this really seems sustainable. It seems like building something together. King of Discs is, you know, the masculine energy of discs. It's the masculine energy of pentacles. So new things growing, new things building together, building a home, building a life, building a career. This could be very, very sustainable. And then we've got the Magus. This is the Magician card. And I love this here because it is like anything is possible. You can build anything that you want. It just reminds me that if right now you're like, I'm not in a relationship, Amy, what are you talking about? You have absolutely all of the tools available to you to build exactly what you want, to attract exactly what you want. The Magician is a manifester. He or she can really just pull in, because the Magician is very kind of ambiguous too, because I think that there's a lot of changing and moving and exploring. Just, it's kind of like very out of the box kind of energy and thinking in new terms. So it's very, again, very fresh with kind of like the Fool, but it's kind of like, I'm not worried about jumping off the cliff like the Fool does because I know that I can handle it. It's being very, what do I want to say? Confident in yourself, confident in your skills. And that is kind of like the reflection should be. Sometimes we're not very confident and our loved ones can step in and really help us out with this. And for a long-term sustaining relationship, somebody reflecting that confidence back to you is really, really important. I love kind of like this ripple of like expansion and growth and energy that just keeps getting kind of like reflected back to you. And then we have, don't let your pride get in the way, full moon in Leo. So when I see this, and it kind of like reminds me a little bit of this King of Discs, maybe just because the color of the full moon, but also because a lion is, you know, king of the jungle. Sometimes we get so busy like building our own lives that we kind of like don't let anybody else in. Or sometimes ego gets involved for whatever reason. So this might just be a message for certain people, ego related. It's kind of like don't discount someone. You know, when I was talking about like this could be like somebody that was friend zoned because you never thought you could date somebody that's shorter than yourself, or you know, kind of like for very superficial, superfluous reasons. I never use that word, but I am doing it here. This is kind of like jump in. I love this little, this is, you know, the Fool usually has a dog, but it's like this little, like, almost looks like a little two-legged rabbit pushing you forward. And the cups energy is very kind of, you know, the cups and discs. So very sustainable, yes, but also like tapping into your emotion. Like, yes, you can be practical, but I almost feel like the full moon in Leo can be too practical in a way that it like, I don't know, it feels like a barrier. And then we've got, what do we have? Okay, communication is key, new moon in Gemini. So very, very important. I think communication is always super, super important in a relationship. New moons, this is like new, fresh energy. You know, kind of like the Fool is a fresh energy. New communications and new speaking and new truths and new kind of almost ways of thinking about something. Going back here to this Three of Cups, like, you know what? This person has been there for me the entire time. Maybe we should talk and see, you know, could this relationship be more or go more? And sometimes we get afraid with that because we don't want to lose them as a friend, like if things go wrong. But I think that's why the Fool is here. Is like, you know, it's time to really jump in, and you guys can make of it whatever it is that you want. I also love the new moon in Gemini. If you were watching this video close to when I upload it, yeah, we are in the shadow of Mercury retrograde right now. We're going into Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde, it's typified by a lot of errors in communication. Things just don't go right. They don't seem right. People don't take the things that you say the right way. Texts don't go through. Emails get blocked. Or go to junk mail and they never saw what you said. So this is important in all relationships to just understand that things happen, and it almost feels like technology kind of goes haywire a little bit. It does kind of teach you something though. It brings things up to the surface. It might bring a glaring like, hey, this person, like I keep going back to this. I almost feel like this whole like friend zone thing. This person is really worth another look. We could really build something beautiful together. And I feel like that is important. I almost feel like that can happen with anything. I love the exuberance here with the Fool, but I also feel like as long as it's a reciprocal relationship and you guys have enough to talk about and you have enough like similarities, that if you are willing and they are willing to put in the work and the effort, that it's kind of like the grass is greener on the other side kind of thing, but really the grass is greenest where you water it. So when you, and the King of Discs is somebody who waters the grass. He takes care of the lawn. So this could be you, this could be your partner. Again, it's masculine energy, but it doesn't necessarily mean a male. But this is somebody who is building something and in it for the long haul, and who just really wants to have a beautiful life with you, or you really want to have a beautiful life with them. And as long as you can meet each other in that same like constructive and creative energy, it's got a lot of staying power. It just came into my like love doesn't get Love Don't Get Nowhere by Walking Away. That is a song by Diamond Rio. It's actually a really, really great song because it's about kind of like meeting in the middle and bringing things together. And if you feel good about yourself, then, you know, you can go and project that and feel good about other people. So that's what I have for you, group one. Very, very interesting. I usually do not read these as like a love connection, but this one is very glaringly that way. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you. Hello, group two. If you picked the Kyanite, you are in the right spot. Let's take a look at the cards. So when I do these weekly readings, I usually pick one card, which is this one, that represents the overall energy of the week. These guys are some more advice, and then I've got these 4 tarot cards to kind of carve out and design that energy. So for you, what's coming up is 22 Divine Masculine. The frequency of Divine Masculine supports our strong, focused, and active side, allowing it to express itself while helping us bring our dreams and ideas into form with kindness and wisdom. I think a lot of times masculinity gets a bad rap because it toxic masculinity, right? But any energy can be really toxic. I think Divine Masculine on its own is just this. I love the definition of this: strong, focused, and active side. It's really interesting. Okay, so this doesn't have anything to do with gender. It's just bringing up that masculine. You know, our world has a lot of dualities: masculine, feminine. A lot of times we like to balance out those energies. Sometimes we live more on the feminine side. Sometimes we live more on the masculine side. For this, either you are asking, you know, you need to pull some things back to neutral and bring in some more masculine, or maybe you just need to step up and bring in some more masculine. One thing that I'm hearing in my head, because I said it doesn't have anything to do with genders. However, like women, sometimes when they step up in their power and they bring in Divine Masculine, what do they get called? Well, I will tell you, they get called a bitch a lot of times, okay? But I think that has become like kind of a more empowering thing for women, is kind of like that. And the reason I bring that up, because I'm hearing this quote, it's from Tina Fey, but I think it was from her character as Liz Lemon in, what was that, 30 Rock? You know, she was running the show and she, you know, had to really step up into her Divine Masculine sometimes. And this quote I've seen all over the place and I absolutely love it, live by it. And it says, you know what? Bitches get things done. So when I see that, and like maybe you're more on the feminine side and you need to step into Divine Masculine, it's like it's time to put on your big girl panties, or, you know, go commando and put on your shit kicking boots. Okay, but let's go and let's get some things done. In this card, let's talk about the structure. We've got the triangles here, and then we've got, you know, just very structured, a lot of, but it's not too much. Like, there's this kind of fuzziness around it, because I kind of feel like, you know, masculine, when we're talking about focused and active and strong, but it's not overbearing. Like this says, it does it with kindness and wisdom. The darkness in the background is kind of like the, I don't know, space void, and Divine Masculine kind of bringing things together, bringing things to a point, bringing things, whatever it is that you're wishing to accomplish this week. It's, you know, bring in some, get some things done, bring in some structure behind it. Let's take a look at the other cards that we have. 3 of Wands, and I find it really interesting that in this 3 of Wands, we have, again, kind of like this repeated structure, this pyramid shape, kind of, because like this is almost a pyramid shape. It almost gives like this 3D effect, but certainly here we've got some triangles, and triangles the triangle is like on temperance. And, you know, divine masculine, divine feminine, a lot of times it speaks to balance. And temperance is about balance. So I'm seeing like just in the imagery here, not necessarily the definition of Three of Wands, just the imagery between the Three of Wands and the masculine. It feels like there needs to be some balance here, that needs to bring in the divine masculine for that balance. Or that balance needs to come because maybe you have been super strong with the divine masculine and understand that you need to do things with kindness and wisdom, that there are other people around you involved. And you know, sometimes we get this triangle here because it can mean like, what is it? Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Sometimes that's what it means in, so I think it's worth mentioning because there is kind of like a balance. There's kind of like you, somebody else, and like, even though we have the masculine, the feminine, but we also have kind of like a third point kind of here in the middle of like the balance of the two, or, you know, your point of view, somebody else's point of view, and like the truth, like bridges those things together. Three of Wands itself, though, it kind of does feel like a masculine card to me, even though we've got some feminine features here, just because the traditional meaning of Three of Wands is kind of planning. You're planning to do something. You're putting things together. You're putting pieces together because you're going to move somewhere. Like you plan for a reason. And I love the wheel in here. Very interesting. So the wheel has, in other decks, it's often called the Wheel of Fortune. So, because it has like that aspect of bringing, you know, good fortune and bringing in great things. Like the wheel continues to turn, and sometimes you feel like you're on the bottom of this wheel and being crushed. But the thing is I always say like this too shall pass with the wheel. So even the good times though, remember that. So it's kind of like, I love, you know, there's kind of like a little bit of karmic energy with the wheel. And I feel like when we're pairing it here with the divine masculine and some planning, it's kind of like a step up and take control this week. Take control of your destiny. Like you can, like things are chaotic all around us, but I feel like there is a direction that you can spin this wheel or see this wheel, or, you know, it's not two-dimensional. Like it's very flat here, but, I'm just looking for spirals because I want to say spirals, and there's a lot of circles in here. There's kind of like some radiating, like repeating, radiating circles that you would get like if you throw a stone into a pond. And the reason that I'm looking for that, because, and I'm talking about 3D here with the wheel, it moves us different places. Like sometimes it feels like the same energy, but it's different now because you've experienced it before. You're coming at it with experience, or you're coming at it with, you know what? I understand what my circumstances are, but I now know this, and I am going to stand up and spin this wheel again, and I'm going to push it to where I want to be. Kind of like stepping out of like your point of reference, point of view, like a victimhood mentality of seeing things and going, okay, instead of seeing challenges as like something that's defeating you, meet challenges with fresh eyes and opportunity. And then we have the Five of Swords, and it's very interesting that Five of Swords comes in. First of all, if you are watching this reading close to when I am updating it, right now we are in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. And I mention that because Mercury retrograde has so much to do and so much to deal with communications. Five of Swords Swords is about communication. Swords is about truth. Swords is about what we are kind of like putting out there, how we are speaking. But it can also kind of be like how we're seeing the world a little bit. Five of Swords is kind of like winning the battle but losing the war. It is kind of warring with other people. Like you have 3 swords, but 5 of them are here like defeated. Usually there's more than one person on this card and they have been fighting. This person is like, look, I've got these 3 swords. Yeah, well, you know, those other 2 swords could probably help you, but you just like defeated them. you are kind of letting them go. And I think this kind of 5 of Swords, when I was talking about like toxic masculinity, this is what we kind of get when we don't act with kindness and wisdom, because we do need to know that there's not a flow with this. This is just kind of all jumbled, where the other cards are very much flowing. They're very much moving. They're very much going someplace. Sometimes we get into an argument and we just really defeat our foe. We don't really need to see people as foe. We don't need to see people as obstacles. We need to see people as, you know, flowing with us. We defeat somebody because we're right? But the thing is with the 5 of Swords is there's kind of multiple truths. Everybody has their own perspective. Everybody has like a way of thinking for a reason. And, you know, sometimes you think you won an argument and you didn't really do that. Like, you mentioned something, you know that there's going to be, you know, you have a friend and you know that if you mention something, it's going to really upset them and you feel like vindicated in the moment, but then they, you know what, they don't want to talk to you anymore, because it's always kind of like this dumping on them, or they feel like it's dumping on them. And, sometimes you don't know that kind of with the divine masculine. You kind of need to use your intuition. I'm not really seeing that here as much, but to know that has happened, to know that you've done that. But when they don't speak to you anymore, or it's very short or whatever, it's like, oh, wait a second, am I really taking their perspective in? So I think that the 5 of Swords is kind of like here as a kind of a caution, just to when things don't feel like they're flowing, you know, because it really is like, hey, everything for you, you stand up in your power, it should flow for you next week. However, there might be some obstacles in your way, but those obstacles might not actually be obstacles. I even kind of said that here with the wheel, there might be opportunities. So instead of like heading, you know, be a little bit more critical with those things when you reach obstacles. And then we have the 8 of Discs. I love this because it is kind of like almost going back to the drawing board a little bit, like growing some things. Sometimes you need to slice some things out of your life though. And that could be the 5 of Swords energy too. Like if you're on the other end of somebody who has been abusive towards you in some way, and I'm talking about like mentally abusive, and maybe it is, you know, just a social media thing. I don't even deal with that stuff anymore. It's like, you know, I can't handle your negativity. It's not going to affect me. It's not going to be with me. And that could be too kind of with this divine masculine is like, hey, I want to care about you. I want to care about what you're saying here, but you don't care about me. So I can't deal with it anymore. And there's no reason that you should have to deal with that. So 5 of Discs, or 8 of Discs kind of feel like, you know, you've got something growing here, and it's not finished by any means. We've got something growing. Maybe you need to learn a new skill. Maybe you need to learn a new way of thinking about something. I think the divine masculine bringing that kind of that strong, focused, and active energy in for you. Again, don't forget the wisdom and kindness. Because that nurturing will help it grow. And I just feel like a lot of balance. The other interesting thing, when I was like balance, you know, we've got this wheel that turns and balance in that too, but like 8 is a very balanced number. It's two circles on top of each other. So we've got this continual like ebb and flow and balance. So a lot of these cards are very much about flow, and I hope that you feel that flow. And then we've got hold your vision, fixed moon. So yeah, these obstacles that come up, like you kind of like, you know, I said the ebb and flow, you kind of like bounce off of that obstacle. Can this be an opportunity? Is this something that's, you know, just in my way for no reason? Do I really need to exert energy off this? Is it my ultimate goal? And sometimes, you know, hold your vision can be pretty rigid. Again, kindness and wisdom. That's where we're dipping into this kindness and wisdom, because how do you know when you're holding your vision and you're just gonna use it and take it as a breakthrough? Or how do you know when you're holding your vision and really you need to kind of like go back to the drawing board and reinvent some things? And that's, you know, good question. I guess it depends on what your vision is. But that's why I think looking at it from a little bit different perspective here, maybe with this divine masculine. And the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. Very, very interesting. So Gemini is related to swords energy. It is thoughts and wisdom. And again, with the wisdom, truth coming in. And with the Five of Swords, I feel like that kind of could be a little difficult. And again, I mentioned the Mercury retrograde, but I feel like if you hold your vision and your integrity and you step up in your power with your, like this Three of Wands, kind of a lot of balancing things out, a lot of like planning things so that you get this wheel turning in your favor, that you're going to find the answers that you need and the answers that are coming. It might be within this conflict, or it might be that it's just like a warning here that this conflict is coming and you need to get over this conflict so that you can grow what you need to grow. So very interesting, our divine masculines, pulling in that divine masculine energy. I love it. Because it feels like these cards feel like so kind of like not very structured, but they want to be. And then the divine masculine's like, yeah, let's pull it in, let's pull it together, let's structure it. And you're going to structure it with your vision and the information that's coming to you this week. So look for that, because a lot of times, you know, this Five of Swords can just be like something that's in our way where we're not seeing the situation for what it really is and what it should be. And I feel like that's why you've got this hold your vision. And the other thing that's interesting about the hold your vision is we've got, you know, one sort of, because it's fixed moon, I think it's the, you know, the moon is split. We're kind of between the new moon and the full moon, and it's kind of split down the middle, like which way is it going to go? And I think that's why the wheel is here too. Well, it's going to go the way that you want it to. Okay, but you have to believe that, and you have to step up in your power to do it. So, but it's saying that it's not easy, and you might need to learn some new things to do it, but you can grow it that way. So that's what I have for you, Group 2, and I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you. Hello, Group 3, and welcome to your reading for this next week. So if you picked the moon, you are in the right spot. Okay, so the way that I handle these weekly readings is these are kind of like further advice cards. Here's our tarot cards, and then I pull one card to represent the energy, the overall energy of your next week. And this is really interesting to me because the first card is like Group 1 got romantic love, Group 2 got divine masculine, And group 3 got divine feminine. So I don't know. I feel like, there's a lot of balance kind of between all of the groups, or, we're really trying to find balance between everybody this week. So that might just be like an overall thing for everybody in these readings. And what I do want to say about divine feminine and divine masculine, they're kind of like, our world is full of dualities. It's full of, masculine, feminine, mind and spirit, in chaos and order. That's another one, yin yang. But it doesn't necessarily relate to gender. So divine feminine could be like a male absolutely can embody divine feminine. And I think that it's important to see things from that perspective, or pull in that energy from time to time, even if that's not your natural energy. And then the divine feminine, female, a female can absolutely embody divine masculinity too. And I go over that a little bit more in the other reading, because that, it was divine masculine over there. So let's talk about divine feminine here. The frequency of divine feminine supports our receptive, nurturing, and soft side, allowing it to express itself openly and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding of our connection to all of creation. So this talks about us being connected to everyone else. I almost see a lot of empathic energy here, because we are all connected to everybody else. So there are things that flow to you that may not necessarily belong to you. And that is kind of like a caution when you get into too much of this. And the reason I say that is because if you don't know let's say an emotion, if you don't know that this particular emotion, sometimes you just all of a sudden feel like this guilt, right? You want to be an open and loving and caring person, and then all of a sudden you just have this overwhelming guilt, and you just don't know where to place it, and you don't know where it's from, or fear, or sometimes anger. And it's like, where the heck is this coming from? Whenever you have that, I invite you to kind of be an observer of your feelings. And the divine feminine really uses feelings as a guide, like, where do I want to go? And that's why it's like so kind of jarring when you get this like weird feeling that you don't know what to do with, because you don't know where it takes you, but then you kind of get muddled, and because it doesn't belong to you. This is where I'm going. That guilt or fear or whatever, like when you open yourself up, sometimes you get those things. So I'm just saying, like, yes, it's lovely to be connected to other people. It's lovely to have empathy for others, but you also have to do it with a certain amount of balance and pull that back, because one, it doesn't do you any good. I mean, how are you supposed to act on like these emotions that don't belong to you? It can be very jarring, and you don't know where to go with that. And two, I kind of feel like, in my experience, like that is somebody that just kind of dumped it on you, and they actually need that, and they need to feel it so that they can move on. Like, don't accept somebody's guilt. Go, okay, I realize this isn't my guilt. I have nothing to be guilty about, or I have no reason to feel guilty about. So just clear it out. You can do that kind of with breath, or, envision like a bubble around yourself. I think that's why, to me, that's why I see these bubbles here, is like you're able to let things flow in and flow out, but understand when it is yours and when it's not. And sometimes you need to know these things, like it helps you, because if you don't know what person that belongs to, that's kind of difficult. But sometimes you do. You tap into their energy and you understand that they've got like this extreme sadness, and then you can be there for them. And that's the whole kind of purpose. I also love, where it's talking about connection to all of creation. We are co-creators here, working together. Divine Feminine also has like a lot of growth. I mean, it's very much connected to Mother Earth, Gaia. It's also growth and nurturing and love and providing for others, and that's just a beautiful heart space to be in. And I want you to have like all of that great, and also like creativity of that without any of the like negative. So here we go. 3 of Discs, very interesting. So 3 of Discs relates, back to Mother Gaia, back to Earth, back to building things with other people. And really, you can be so much more effective when you're building with other people, when you're connected to them. So I love that connection. Kind of maybe nurturing of other people as well. If, Divine Feminine is not an energy that you're used to tapping into, and you are in a workplace situation, or you're trying to build things even with family or friends, or a partner, in that, like, kind of see things from their perspective. It also makes you like a better leader. There is like an element, like, especially in this card, we've got somebody at the top, but, like leaders do benefit from understanding where the perspectives of the people in their team. So it's, even though like taking charge and taking action seems like a very, masculine energy, like, okay, but let's work together, let's create together, let's be together. And what are your thoughts and energies? Now, you might have to, again, I see like Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, it is like a balance, and you need to know when to tap into what each time. And, it does indicate like, we can't just sit and at our work in a drum circle and sing Kumbaya. Nothing ever gets done. But you want your people to know that you're there for them. They can come to you with anything, and they're actually more productive in that way. So it's not a wasted time to, let people express themselves. It actually is very nurturing and helps things grow. And look at this, 6 of Discs. So it grows even more, and just more connections and coming out of here. It's interesting here because this almost looks like a face to me. So this could be crown chakra. I would say, if it crown chakra or third eye chakra. So crown chakra brings in information from kind of like from source. So it feels like opening up to other people helps you to open up yourself, like very much, again, the connectedness, like connected to all of these other discs. 6 of Discs means it's a very reciprocal relationship. Sometimes you are the person who is able to give to others in charity, and sometimes they give to you when you're in need. So a lot of like carrying on from like this 3 of Discs energy, and very much in the flow, very much like this feels really good, very reciprocal, like your relationships with other people this week. It feels good. It feels like it's going to flow. And it feels like it is that way because you really do want to be nurturing and understanding. And that's the positives of this. Like, you just create this flow between you and other people. And then because you feel like this connection with them, that they step up and they feel connected with you, and it just like builds and builds, 3 to 6, it builds and builds. And you build on that and build more things. It's very creative energy. But it's also very like earth-based. That's what three of discs is. It's related to the earth. It's Mother Gaia. It's growing and building and developing. It's work relationships. You could be building a home, as you know, your home as well, the hearth. But this also could be related to you and your goals for your body. Like this is a great, like looking at yourself with love. I want to say, because so many times we like want to change our body, or we're not happy with the way things are, but it's so hard to change. And it sounds counterintuitive until you love and accept yourself the way you are. And then, you know, it just, things start flowing, things start growing. And then we've got 6 of Cups. So now we've got 6 of Discs, 6 of Cups, 2 sixes here. Cups is so related to emotions and other people. It seems like a cycle here, a family cycle. Again, that whole like reciprocal energy with the 6 of Discs. 6 of Cups also talks about like some nostalgia too. So past experiences, bringing up some past things that have happened, either, you know, your experiences and you're growing from that, or just, you know, thinking of some good memories, thinking of, and usually kind of like related family wise. I recently attended a funeral, unfortunately, but it was like, you know, this is a family cycle, like that happens. It's part of living. It's part of a cycle, and we can like take those things, and it was really great, like reliving memories and connecting with family and connecting with friends. I'm not saying that you're going to a funeral, but you know, you might be going down some memory lane kind of things with the 6 of Cups. Like you could definitely be, you know, how Facebook has those stories that you shared so many years ago. Don't neglect that this week. It might have some good significance for you. Or, you know, you get a phone call from a friend from out of the blue. Or if you feel encouraged to call somebody that you haven't talked to for a while, do that, connect with them. You know, even if it's just send them a message thinking of you, hope you're doing well. That could be something that they need. Very feminine energy here, a lot of connecting. And then we get the 8 of Wands. So I feel like whatever it is that you want to accomplish, when I was talking about a work situation, and I was like, you connecting with people at work and you understanding their perspective and where they're coming from and how it feels like sometimes that takes away from your project, or you're not really accomplishing your work or whatever. I feel like though it's a great foundation for people where they feel like they're valued and they feel like they can trust you, and it's not a waste of time, and it actually increases productivity. And that's the 8 of Wands energy, is a very like fast moving energy. But this could be like anything. Like if you are looking for a job, spend some time with, where do your friends work? Is there, you know, connections? There's something really a lot of related to you and connections and people coming together, and whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, if it's like a creative endeavor, if it's work related. 3 of Discs makes it feel to me like it's very work related. That's why I keep going that way. But it could be something else that is just means something to you. This divine energy, like just tapping into it a little bit, even though, you know, sometimes we're like, oh, that kind of seems like a waste of time to go down that road. It's not. Like whatever you're going to find there, it propels you into what you're really looking for and where you're going. It's going to do it very, very quickly. 6 of Cups too is kind of like looking through old photos, and it's just taking a break, taking a moment for yourself, taking that time, even for you to feel like you're listening to yourself and feeling fulfilled. And then we've got your dreams need a practical plan full moon in Taurus. A lot more, earth energy here. Taurus is an earth sign. Taurus is very practical. But Taurus gets things done too. With the full moon energy and full moon in Taurus, I feel like, there's a time where things seem like really magical, and there's a time to, really just kind of get working on your goal. But Taurus kind of, like the full moon in Taurus kind of brings both of those things together, both of those aspects together, and really moves things for you and gets things going in the direction or in the way that's beneficial. Like it's just going to explode. And then we've got expect powerful change, new moon and eclipse. So if you have been like wondering, when is this dream going to come true? When is the right time to act on this thing? Right here, expect powerful change. A new moon eclipse. Eclipses are just very powerful time. It's really interesting too. I guess it's not like out there because you picked the moon and the moon seems really powerful, but because these are moon cards, so yeah, but I think this is the most powerful moon card of all the groups, so there you go. Okay, so it's if you feel connected to the moon, right now the moon it was full last week. And if you're listening to this after at a later date, that's fine. Just take a look. You might want to take a look if this resonates with you, take a look at the moon cycle. Where are we at with it? New moons are perfect time. That's when it's darkest in the sky, like the moon doesn't exist in the sky. But when we go from a new moon to a full moon, you can use that lunar cycle to grow things. So it's a great time to manifest new things, and bring new things in. And there's a lot of manifesting energy here, even though it feels like it's just a really great foundation to bring in like your wildest dreams, but something that you want kind of more with your heart, something that really, it kind of connects to your soul. Right now, as I'm recording this, we're going from a full moon to a new moon, so it's a great time to release, because as part of the cycle, we release things so that we can bring new things in. And I think this was coming up a lot in last week's readings, but still not, we're still in that time frame, is even though we've just hit like the autumnal equinox, springtime seems like such a great time to spring cleaning, to let things go. But I feel like, in the fall, it's time to kind of let things go too. What is it, whenever we're going through a cycle, when we go from summer to fall, what are the things that, no longer serve you anymore? Is it time to get rid of that swimsuit that you used all summer? Is it time, are you going to really store all of those half-used bottles of sunscreen? Or, what, why don't you just continue to use them? Because sunscreen is a great thing to wear year-round. But, so spring cleaning, getting rid of old things so you can build beautiful new things. And again, like tapping into this divine feminine energy feels like it's going to move things very, very fast for you. So that is what I have for you, group 3. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you.